It's a bit like, you know, when you get a mirror and the mirror's broken. It stays that way unless you mend the mirror. No one can give you any of this stuff. You have to have the courage to do it yourself. And you all probably have addictions. Smoking is an addiction. But there are these other addictions which are just too much. We all are addicted. I mean, I think even love is an addiction. Because only, you know, it just is. That's what I think love is, an addiction. But if the conception is off, it's always flawed, isn't it? And there's always problems. I myself think, even as friends, but more as a relationship, that person gets to know you and understands you. I do have some really good girly friends, but that does happen, where we talk to each other all the time, into how you really feel and how that makes you feel. And then the one you really want to do this with, your mother, your father, your partner, your brother, it just can't happen. They don't hear you, they don't see you. But you do have it with other people. But sometimes it's the one who just doesn't see, hear, think, feel the whole thing. But if you realise that it's a program, it's another one of those. I think it's even worse than narcissism, because that's the end result of doing this to people. It's making people believe that we're on a globe, making people believe that all this stuff is happening around us right now, when it is, look at this, freedom. We're watching freedom. And Robert films what he sees. He's in America. There's freedom. This is what we have to have hope in for the future. Because so far, they're being taught the wrong things by broken people. And do you know something? A programmed parent through this system will want to reclaim themselves back through their children, but not realise it. And that's why they treat them the way they do. But not know, because they think it's themselves, but it's not. They've been programmed too on this generational cycle, which goes on and on and on, and not even realise they're doing it. So they might treat their children as they were treated to claim back how they were treated. So the cycle just keeps going on. Unless we wake up and realise that those feelings are real and understand them and what they mean. How do you go on calling yourself a human being? As human beings, we're just machines. We are living in such a harsh world. We really, really are. I don't think for anybody who's woken up or anybody who's an empath looks out there and thinks, what a wonderful place we've made. I kind of realise that this programme just goes so much deeper, so much deeper, that anybody that's my generation, or even for the next few generations, doesn't have all these overwhelming problems with one of their parents. Just whatever's happened, and for a lot of this it's abandonment and stuff like that. That the society has a mega problem with the opposite sex. But actually, just so that everybody knows, it's another one of their little programs that they've put on us. And that these programs were set up to make sure that we were changed. Do you know what I feel like? I feel like we are the Matrix. We are Neos. We are Blade Runners. And this is all they've wanted to do, is just make a human being live in hell, basically. Because if you don't realise a lot of this stuff isn't yours and is dysfunctional and has come from your childhood, which wasn't you, which was projected on you, then all you do is live a totally unauthentic life. There is an authentic you inside you, but it gets lost in these boundaries of layers of addictions in there, because you can't face or can't get back to your authentic self. And then an adult comes in and trains you and programs you, and that's what this has happened. And it stems a lot, probably, I think, probably from the timing, like the Second World War into televisions, because then they can program us even more. And we've been put on such a low vibration, and unless you wake up and realise who you are as a person, why, what and where, you're only going to project it onto someone else, not know what you're doing and not care either. But we're all human beings and we should all be responsible for ourselves and what we do. Most people don't do it at all. They project so much onto someone else that the other person then reacts. It's happened to me lately, where I'm reacting to something which isn't really my problem, but I'm in the middle of it and I'm trying to tell someone something and they just don't listen to you at all, and they carry on doing exactly what they want. And what they want is they want it all, but they can't have all. And, you know, I just don't know. Material things, money, objects are much more important to people than the people. You know, we're a long time dead. In fact, when you die, you never come back. So there's only one of you. Instead of learning or appreciating or getting to know or being honest, you treat that person that comes into your life like they're a piece of poo, and then wonder why it ends up the way it is. Unless you're honest with yourself, how can anything be but flawed? I'm going to read this. I actually love this saying. I love it so much. It meant so much to me when I read it, and I actually almost know it word for word. But even for relationships, I mean, I think this statement works for friendships as well, because it does, but they're talking of it more in a romantic way. It says, love can be a terrifying prospect. On one hand, we seem to want it more than anything else, and on the other hand, it brings up anything unlike itself, and often we want to run away from the dark side of falling in love. But falling in love is not the answer, because falling for someone is usually the expression of a hopeless longing to have someone take care of you forever, which is not what great relationships are made of. Rising in love is a much better solution. When two people, I've lost my place now. When two people who love themselves choose to be together, there is twice as much love for each of them. Most relationships begin unconsciously, and when the conception of anything is off, how can the fruition be anything but flawed? So, the first step is to get clear on what you want, so you recognise it when it comes along. Your mind is so accustomed, get it right, to what it doesn't want, that it has to be trained to see what it really desires but is unaccustomed to receiving. The second step is to, once you do attract that perfect partner, to sit down and tell each other all your fears and get through the terror fast. Allow the love to replace the fear and build the habit of telling the truth from your first day of your relationship. That is, to me, is just such great words, because most times all relationships begin unconsciously or when the conception is off, and then no one understands why it's broken. So hopefully we start to think things differently, because you know what, also James does the 8 laws of anxiety, and anxiety makes lots of money because people are buying prescriptions, antidepressants, whatever it is, buying books. It's a big money making thing, so they want us in anxiety so they can make lots of money out of us. And also something I'll never forget that James said. James is from New Zealand, not James in the UK, James Brockhurst. This is a different James. This James said, you think you're giving someone your wisdom, but you're not, you're just giving them your anxiety. And when I heard that, I thought, God, imagine all the things that my parents have said to me where they think they're giving me wisdom, but they're just giving me anxiety. I've probably done it myself. You don't realise you're doing it. But wisdom is not wisdom, it's anxiety. So once you realise that stuff and spiritual stuff and yourself is much higher, that you have to get back to being your authentic self, who you really are as a person. Nothing in your life's going to change. And then once you know who you are, then you've got enough time to give to someone else. If you don't know who you are or are responsible for yourself, how can you love and care about anybody else in the world? It's quite simple. I have to say though that if you are stuck with a narcissist. They do seem quite incredible, these people, because what it is they're broken little people inside, really broken. But they'll never ever want you to know that, and instead of loving you, they just want to control you. Nothing about them is about you and what they want from you. It's all about what they can do to you, because they want to recapture this pain they have. And this guy was reading it and he said, well, he keeps using he here because most narcissists are men. That doesn't mean they're not women, but most of them are men. It's always a he. And then they project all this stuff out on you and use you and want to be in control of you. And, you know, we so need to learn who we are as people and learn that depth of language, of description, of understanding. How many people are stuck around people who are narcissists? I mean, in a sense, I think a lot of people who have not truly woken up, those that believe in the television and all that, they're the narcissists. To be totally awake, one of the things you do is you do not watch the television. You find your own television. You don't want to find their television, you find your television, or what you want to describe or what you want to talk about. But a lot of people think they're awake, but you realise that they're not. And then being an empath, who in listening to this video is an empath? If you're an empath, it means you feel other people's feelings. And how hard is that when you know they're a narcissist? Or there's things wrong, you're feeling their feelings, even if they don't give a damn about yours. Our whole world is set up to be this external, empty, material existence, when really inside we're these hurting little children with masses of feelings and no understandings. If you don't sort these things out, they come with you, and as you get older you can't sort them out. They become you, but they weren't you. You were programmed that way. If we realise that we're programmed, you need to go back, strip your stuff back, look at who you are, see what happened to you, work yourself out, then you can be with someone. Anyway, it's not just about a relationship. This happens in friendships, where you think you've got friends and you haven't got friends, or you think these people are your friends and you realise you have nothing in common with them, especially when you wake up. How many of you have lost nearly all your friends and your family when you wake up and they're all over there and you're on your own? It's quite a lonely place waking up. And also, I'm quite psychic. I know things that I can't explain. I just know them. So how many people feel that? Because that doesn't help me. You know, they're supposed to be gifts, being an empath and being psychic, but I don't see them as gifts. I see them as terror. They're my terror, because I know things that people don't know and don't see, and they don't even realise I do. But anyway, maybe some of my words, some of the things that on this video resonate with you, and maybe it brightens your day up to think that you're not the only one who's understood some of this stuff, because it is quite confusing, isn't it? Especially if you're with someone, there's your feelings and their feelings. Even friendships, there's your feelings and there's their feelings. But really, if we just, instead of being these stick zombies, we need to wake up and realise we're humans, and humans have feelings. And the feelings are the most important things. They're your memories, they're everything. Anyway, I hope this has resonated with you.